Welcome to the 8th episode of VSML 2012 Recaps from Reality TV Warriors. My name is Michael Harmstone, and joining me as always is the Canadian who we are pleased to announce has been award-nominated in Vernon, Logan Saunders.
Good afternoon.
And the guy who we insist has to be ready for us at 6:30 every single recording day, David Bindley.
Did you just cut out?
I didn't.
No, he did not.
Oh.
That was your
Anyway,
computer.
good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Yeah, Saunders was very inconvenient last week because we do record these on a Tuesday evening for me. And literally after we finished recording, Saunders said, "Oh, you know, you can nominate yourself for awards in Vernon, right?" So I have had to set myself a
Who else is
reminder for
going
this
to?
evening. Yeah, I had to set myself a reminder for this evening to make sure that I bring up your actions that is essentially Googling yourself, Saunders.
Well, my name has gotten around Vernon the past few weeks because of my Golden Burger Challenge review videos.
And the horse fucking, yeah.
Hmm?
And the people that are on the board for the charity for the Golden Burger Challenge, they are the local radio hosts in town that do the Bob Awards, which is called the Best of the Best, which is like 70 or 80 different categories to rank what's the best of this in Vernon. So like, I don't know, best Japanese restaurant, or best park, or best beach, or best car dealership. Every category you could think of. And one of them was best citizen. And each of the categories has 2 or 3 or 4 nominees, but you can also do write-in nominees. So I thought it would be hilarious to write myself in as a nominee and just see where it goes from there.
But surely it's so awkward if you end up winning.
Yeah, if I beat out people who are as was it Jenna Louise from Australian Survivor, who are humanitarians, and then there's me.
Have you had good weeks anyway? I just wanted to, make Saunders talk about the fact he's had to nominate himself for an award.
The Toronto Blue Jays baseball team are in the World Series for the first time in 32 years.
And the Seattle Mariners are not.
Yes, much to the disappointment of Mario Lanza. But yeah, that was really fun, especially growing up. Those are really the only 2 sports teams I've ever really followed. So the fact they had to play against each other in the series, and both teams do not do historically well in baseball over the past 30 years, or very rarely. So that was pretty cool. I watched all 7 games with my parents over the past week and a half. So yeah, no matter what, it was a win-win situation for me. So it was pretty cool to watch all of that play out. Sports.
Might have been a win-win for you, but Mario Lanza is used to disappointment.
Yes, he is.
And given our place in the actual timeline, I know people are going to expect me to talk about celebrity traitors, and in particular, Celia Imrie farting out of nervousness, which was hilarious. But the better moment from last week's episodes was obviously Celia Imrie impersonating a banshee.
She looked like Schmeagol.
I don't know whether you've seen it, Bindles, but you need to see it immediately. It was amazing.
Okay.
Especially given this woman is a national treasure anyway.
It's in my queue to watch very soon.
It was by far the hardest I think I've laughed throughout the whole season. Also, the homeless Jonathan LaPaglia guy, Joe Wilkinson, when he just tries to make his deadpan observations. Have you noticed that the further along we get in the game, the less people there are?
I know we say this a lot, Saunders, but you need to start watching Taskmaster, because Joe Wilkinson's series is very funny. And I'd say about a quarter of the people in the original cast have done Taskmaster in some capacity.
And I would say that Joe Wilkinson is probably like the most famous moment on Taskmaster.
Yeah, that clip that I sent you last week of Joe Wilkinson is one of the most infamous Taskmaster moments in history. Please don't take this away from me. Any other TV to discuss? Hunted, seen 1 episode. There have been 4 that have aired, but me, Anne, and Michelle have all got an agreement that we're not watching any episodes ahead of our recording schedule. So I'm 1 episode in of 4, and I unfortunately know who goes home in episode 4 because they put it on Facebook as always, and I never learn every single series.
I still need to catch up on Hunted.
You do?
I was really good about keeping up with it as it aired for the first few episodes of season 1, and then I just kept falling behind after that.
Well, they've introduced a new twist in that episode that aired last night, which is essentially hidden in a book in a library in Birmingham is £10,000 cash, and you can use it to do whatever you want on the run. But any that you have left over is yours to keep after you get caught or you escape.
So you can just take it, get caught, and you just go home with 10K.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, that's a pretty
Might as
good
well take it.
incentive. Yeah, just take the money and don't run.
And Amazing Race Australia finished yesterday. Does anyone care? Probably not, because no one watched it, despite what Michelle seems to think.
No.
You'll be surprised, but apparently an all-male team won.
Yeah. I do love that the star of one of Phil's favourite movies is now an Amazing Race winner, but aside from that, I have no incentive to watch the season.
8 out of 9 winners are all male.
Yeah.
Which is a very good segue into the episode we are about to talk about.
Yeah. So, previously, new treasurer Hadewych immediately started spending money as she exchanged €500 for a yoke before the group hauled a bull-shaped blackboard to the top of a hill. Everyone faced their fears climbing up and down a bridge before the group tried to recreate famous Spanish works of art with absolutely no monetary gain. William refused to use his yokers at the test, and it was a terrible choice, as he was the 6th person sent home. An art taking over from Peter Yan's obsession with gender talks about the fact that Tim is the only man left standing. He remains with 3 women, Lisbeth, Hadewych, and Anna Marie. The mall could be responsible for the record low pot too. With 1 episode left, they only have €8,100, otherwise known as still more than Cambodia's pot.
Did you see they reunited all of the Venom hosts during the week?
I did, including Carol, weirdly.
It's nice of them to put the Avrotros logo on that pillar of his ashes. I mean, he did love the network so much.
That joke really, really made me laugh when you posted it on Discord. I presume that was for MIPCOM, because the announcement of the second streaming season was at MIPCOM.
I don't know. My understanding is that like the Dutch Emmys were last week, and it might have been something to do with that. But I don't think they won the award. I don't think they were even nominated for an award. So I don't know why they were there.
Yeah, it is interesting that Art was on stage with them, because obviously he's now the face of another network.
Yeah.
And also, I did not recognize Angela at all.
No.
She looks very different.
Yeah. I mean, she looked very different every season she was actually doing the show.
Yeah, and I don't particularly recognize her unless she is standing on a table doing Private Dancer. But yeah, I wasn't actually 100% that was Angela with them from the picture. But I did think it was interesting that they allowed Art to go on stage with them, to be honest, given he's, on a rival network now.
It was so nice that they had like all of them there, and it was Peter Yan doing the talking.
Of course. Who else do you want to do the talking at this point?
Well, they can't let Art do it because of that. It's not going to be Carol. It's certainly not going to be Rick. So it was basically Peter Yan or Angela. And I think Angela was just busy trying to wait for the Botox to wear off.
And also, I think if you asked me, who do you think is going to be most likely to successfully make a speech at an awards ceremony, it's going to be Peter Yan over Angela, because Angela was probably on all the wines by that point.
Oh, yeah.
So the episode title is Tim, Anna Marie, Lisbeth. Anna Marie says she doesn't believe the bonds. You can't trust anyone in this game. She's not telling anyone that her mole is Lisbeth.
Now, Logan, did you want to have a go at the Dutch words for that title?
Sure. Tim, Anna Marie, Lisbeth.
Wrong, it's Lisbeth, sorry.
So close!
God damn it, Saunders.
We give you one job.
At least I got Tim right.
Well.
Also, weird green screening from Anna Marie's confessional again.
Yep, I put that in my notes too. I'm thinking you think after one episode of having it in the editing room, I guess maybe they probably wouldn't have already been editing on location, but you think, oh, this is going to look weird. Hey, let's do that again.
I do think it might have been recorded at the same place as the other weird green screening, sort of before the Bull Challenge, because she was wearing exactly the same clothes and she didn't have her bright red lipstick on.
Huh.
It's one of the few times in the season that she didn't. So I think it actually might have been an episode 7 one, or maybe even an episode 6 one.
I mean, as she herself says, her lipstick is very recognizable.
It is. And Art meets them in a park and is looking for one person who's good at learning and observing, and it's Lisbeth and Hadewych who volunteer, and then Hadewych is chosen by the group and sent away.
Hadewych proceeds to freak out that she won't be able to observe what the rest of the group does during this challenge. Fortunately for her, this challenge is going to last about 20, 30, 40 seconds from when it truly starts.
And she will be observing everything that the other members of the team do, whether she's meant to or not. She'll be walking around the Plaza de España at 4 p.m, and the others must take a picture with her without her knowing it. Each of them get €50 to prepare a costume, and every correct photo with both of them in the picture is worth €500 for the pot.
It's like a remix of that really popular challenge from the Thailand season. Same, but different.
Someone's first idea here is to buy 3 burkas, which
Yes.
seems to me like it wouldn't fit the both faces must be visible rule.
Yeah. I mean, 3 people in burkas might have made this challenge last a little bit longer than it actually did.
Yeah.
So I've been to Sevilla.
Yep.
I don't recall seeing many people in burkas when I was there. That would really make somebody stand out. Especially in a large, empty plaza in the early afternoon. During siesta time, essentially, in Sevilla.
And a man dressed in a flamenco dress hiding his face wouldn't. This was a mess of a challenge.
And Elizabeth refers to Tim as being a flamenco drag queen.
I love that was like his 4th choice for the outfit. Like the first 3, he was like, a red hat? No, that's too obvious. Going dressed as a suitcase? That's too obvious. Standing under an umbrella? That's too obvious. I know. I'll be a flamenco human statue.
I don't know why on earth they thought any of these costumes would work. I know the headline one is Tim being dressed as a flamenco human statue, but the girls' ones aren't that much better.
No, Anna Marie has a very bright purple headscarf that would really make her stand out.
She looks like a fortune teller from the Outcast tribe. And then when we actually get to the plaza, her and Lisbeth look like they're about to get Little Britain cancelled again.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, they reject Tim using the umbrella at one point because it's too feminine. And then both of them buy the same umbrella and pretend not to know each other. Oh, and they're visibly wearing cameras as well. They're both wearing DSLRs. So Tim gets caught, and she realizes that it's Tim. And then she just turns around and is like, oh, the other 2 people in the plaza are probably going to be Anna Marie and Lisbeth then. That was easy.
That whole exchange because they showed the whole time where Hadewych's in the plaza, she notices Tim right away. And my favorite part of probably of any Venom episode in a long time is the tourists going up to Tim and dropping €1 in front of him. And then it gets added to the pot total.
Yeah, the funniest bit of this is production have the sense of humor to go, let's add that to the pot anyway.
It's already a record low. They need every euro they can get. And then Tim's like, well, because any street performer in Europe does some sort of appreciation whenever somebody puts money into the bucket, I'll do this weird thing with my feet to draw even more attention to myself. And because he did that, Hadewych right away says, wait a second, this is supposed to be a flamenco dancer. That is clearly not a flamenco dancer. Who the hell is this? Let's investigate this and solve this mystery very, very quickly.
I'm sure that Fuzzy is going to put on her bingo card that I am going to have a rant about €1 being added to the pot and you can't fulfill that in mole money. But it is effortlessly charming in this scene.
You can fulfill it in actual money.
Yeah, I have zero complaints about them doing it because it is just such a funny punchline to the challenge.
I like how Tim resembled more Judy Garland in Wizard of Oz with clicking his feet together rather than a flamenco dancer.
Yeah, he's genuinely terrible at that challenge.
I think my favourite bit is like just the visual of Tim wearing what can generously be described as off the rack quinceanera. stomping across the Plaza de España, but before standing alone in the middle of the fountain, like with nobody else around. I don't know whether they just filmed this at the wrong time of day, but like there was no chance of any of them passing this challenge at all, even if they were in a good disguise.
No, and they're supposed to last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it lasted 30 seconds.
Hmm.
I like how the tourist even goes up to Hadewych too to help investigate. And then she's like, yeah, I think this is a man. And Hadewich's like, a man? Are you sure? Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's Tim's shirt. So I'm guessing this is Tim. He wore his own t-shirt underneath the costume.
But then he has a proper tantrum and makes it more obvious the two other people in the plaza are going to be the girls.
Like Tim freaking out. What are you doing? How did you possibly recognize me? You're responsible for ruining this, Hadewych.
I don't think the girls would have survived anyway, but they might have survived a minute longer if Tim hadn't had a bit of a tantrum.
Yeah. And they definitely, like, 4 p.m. in most places in southern Spain, nobody's out and about really at that time. Like for most of southern Spain, you don't really see people out until around sunset, late evening. That's when people would be coming out to the plaza. Definitely not middle of the afternoon. That was because especially Sevilla can still, because they filmed this in November.
Ooh, that is a very good question.
When's Lisbeth's birthday? Because we had that in Iceland. I don't think it had been November because.
Oh, right, because they said Reykjavik was actually like 20 hours of daylight. So probably summer? They would have filmed in Sevilla during summer.
Elizabeth's birthday is the 23rd of May, so...
Oh, okay.
It probably would have been around the start of June by this point.
So it would have been like... It would have probably been like 40 degrees Celsius. Yeah, no wonder there was nobody out there at 4 p.m.
So yeah, a tourist rumbles Tim as a man, and then Hadewych realizes it's Tim when she sees his t-shirt, even though he's made himself boobs.
Yeah. What? This should have fooled you. You're the mole, Hadewych.
He stuffed some lemons down his top, and she gave him no credit.
just put a euro in the thing, and he just squeezes a lemon out.
And she then spots Lisbeth and Anna-Marie under umbrellas, so the assignment's a colossal failure.
My favorite part is Anna-Marie saying, if Hadewych was the mole, she would recognize us immediately. I'm thinking, anybody would have recognized all three of you immediately.
Because you were the only three people in the plaza.
Let's see, there are 3 contestants and this one tourist. I wonder who they could be. And I like how, because of how badly this challenge failed, it seems like production just came up with a little quick side test to just throw 500 euros at them.
Yeah, like no way was that part of the challenge originally.
No, because they probably would have announced it beforehand.
I like how the question she was asked was 10 times harder than being able to identify all 3 of them in the plaza.
And it was counting to 4.
Yep. At least it's not counting to 3.
So Art then reunites the group and confirms they were all rumbled, which means they earn nothing for the challenge. However, if Hadewych answers a question from Art, she can earn 500 euros for the pot to make up for it. And she answers that there are 4 bridges in the plaza, which is correct, meaning that including Tim's bonus euro, they earned 501 euros of 2,000 for the challenge. And then they change hotels.
The new one doesn't have a water slide.
It doesn't, but it does have them jumping into a swimming pool for some reason, fully clothed.
It's probably that damn hot outside in Sevilla in freaking June. That would be my guess.
Art then meets them at a bull ring and tells them that the pot's at an all-time low, in case they didn't realise, but they can add 3,500 euros in this challenge. In the arena behind him is a giant hay bale maze, and each of them will go in one at a time. In the centre are 4 envelopes, and they must take 1 envelope each to the exit without being caught.
I love that they go to the trouble of doing this in a bull ring, and then before they even see it, having to be like, okay, this isn't a bullfight, so relax, Lisbeth's agent.
Yeah, they were all a little bit worried that they were actually going to be doing something with bulls.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have put it past them in a civilian season, because I think Portugal was did a bull challenge. Must have been Portugal because it was the only one sort of anywhere near any bulls.
So Tim volunteers to go first as he's the fastest in the group, and he's being chased by the most formidable opponent possible, a man in a bandana.
I love that they like ran out of ideas to make these people look creepy.
On the subject of creepiness, did you see the most recent Renaissamce trailer?
Yes.
No.
They've confirmed the return of the creepy dolls from Cambodia and South Africa, I think it was.
Ooh,
The I See You ones.
excellent.
Yes, they are both back for the Renaissamce in Portugal season.
Imagine trying to get them through customs at Schiphol.
Do you have anything to declare? I see you. Let's be honest, Schiphol's probably had weirder things go through the security machines.
Yeah, you've been there.
Very true. Going there in a few weeks. Going there in 5.5 weeks, to be precise. So Tim grabs his envelope and then sees the man in the bandana. He escapes with the envelope and banks it. And in addition, as he's escaped, he can see the overhead route on a monitor.
I wish there were mariachis in here.
The one thing that I will say is this is quite a big build for Vidum.
Yeah.
Vidum doesn't usually go to this scale, but they have a crane with a camera on it and everything in this challenge.
I mean, it's a shame the crane's sort of positioned where you can't really see the maze properly.
No, and also it's positioned where you can still see the shadow of the crane, which is
So
how I
points
know.
for effort show.
Yeah, like they've thrown money at this challenge. And this must have taken an absolute age to build that hay bale maze.
This could not be planned at the last minute.
No, this was 100% a Spain challenge through and through.
A Spain crane challenge.
Yeah. So Lisbeth is the second one to enter, and Tim keeps guiding her towards dead ends, but she eventually finds the envelopes, and the man in the bandana closes in on her, and she gets caught. Hadewych then suggests exactly what I was thinking with this challenge, which is he's obviously working off of being able to hear the walkie-talkie, so turn off the walkie-talkie, or turn it down at least. But everyone just says, nah, that's a stupid idea. Keep it on full volume and just let us guide you and don't talk. Which, isn't any better. I think you probably turn the walkie-talkie down, and then, let's be honest, the mole probably turns it back up again, but you turn it down so only you can hear it, really.
Yeah, because it looks like the guy wasn't allowed to run. He was just speed walking.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that they went to this level of effort for this challenge, and somehow it is by far the weakest challenge in the episode.
Yeah.
Considering the other two challenges are go fish and stand in a plaza.
For 10 seconds.
So Hadewych, suggests turning the walkie-talkie off, and she's the third one to enter the maze, and Tim has the useful idea to just guide her and tell her to shut up. And she reaches the middle, and the man gets unleashed, and she escapes with her envelope, and Tim actually manages to guide her successfully this time. And then Anna-Marie is the last one to enter the maze. She just lets Tim guide her too, and she gets jump-scared by the hunter and gets caught. Art then, quite passive-aggressively, opens the two losers' envelopes to tell them that they contained 1,250 and 750 euros respectively, meaning that they earned 1,500 euros of 3,500 for the challenge, 2,000 euros of 5,500 for the episode, and 10,101 euros of 67,700 for the season so far. He also says that's not bad for how you usually do.
They really threw money at them this episode.
Yeah.
They're almost back to where they were 4 episodes ago.
Yeah, I do think it's a bit mean of them to keep harping on, this is the lowest pot we've ever had. But, there was a pot drain, and they lost, 8,000 euros from that.
And they did lose the first 6 challenges in a row of the season. Or it should have counted as losing the first 6 challenges in a row.
Yeah. The scary thing is, if you don't have that pot drain, they're on track to win about 20,000 euros, which is 2.5 seasons these days.
Yeah. Maybe excluding Renaissamce, because Renaissamce, I think, was the last season above 10,000 euros.
Thanks, Jerome.
Yeah, I think they'll probably give them a fair bit of money on Renaissamce, but yeah, in the normal seasons, they don't earn a lot of money anymore.
The appearance fees will be too high. It'll be 5,000.
You've not seen the long list yet.
Yeah, there are some names in there that I think are probably likely to get decent appearance fees, and then there's other names in there that are, shall we say, not.
That they would have to pay money to be on the show?
Yeah.
There's some that get appearance fees and some that are sort of Euroan level appearance fees.
So Rowan on one side of the scale and Nikki on the other side of the scale?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think whose names are on the list.
Who's cheap?
Yeah, there's a couple of names sort of on the level of, Cecile and Ali Loost who could do it theoretically. And then there's names like Mara. Like, I think there's a sort of a clear group in there of people who are going to cost them a fair bit of money to get them back on the show.
I also love how we're doing all of this chat and we are very much on course to finish this season before Renaissamce actually airs, so we won't even get to do any proper commentary on it.
Yeah. I hope you're ready for like the first episode of Belkia to be like 3 hours long, Michael.
Oh, I cannot wait. Well, the good news is all the Renaissamce chat will probably be in the second Historians of next year, because we'll probably be recording that in January.
Ah.
So back at the hotel, Lisbeth and Anna-Marie have a debrief and a disagreement about Lisbeth not earning money either, because Anna-Marie got so much grief from the rest of the group for walking into a alleged dead end that actually had a corner in it. And Lisbeth did the same thing and didn't get any flack for it whatsoever. And they make an agreement and shake hands that neither of them are the mole. And the following morning, they are then told to dress up. Tim needs to wear a tuxedo and the girls a cocktail dress, and they have to get ready at 6:30 in the morning.
It's so nice of them to actually provide outfits for them this time.
But not shoes. Tim still has his stupid trainers on his bed.
Well, at least he doesn't have to walk in high heels.
And they are taken to a casino and asked to do some sort of weird B-roll posing with Deal or No Deal casino machines.
It was like one of those late night poker TV shows that you see at like 2:00 in the morning in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I presume it was a reference, but it was not a reference that I understood.
No, it was very funny sort of watching Anna-Marie and Hadewych sort of hit the sultry vibe they're going for. Tim sort of try and fail, and Lisbeth just stand there being like, I don't care, I have a career with kids to protect.
Yeah.
Like, I think Lisbeth just gets one single shot in there, and she's basically standing still, while Anna-Marie pretty much humps the slot machine.
Yeah. So in the centre of the casino is a card table and their penultimate assignment. It is the most important assignment of the entire season, Go Fish.
At 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah. The deck of cards that they're playing with contains the faces of the contestants this season, and whoever manages to get rid of all of their cards will win an exemption for the finale.
Oh, I thought we were going to do it all together, like in synchronization for the finale.
Ready? No. Whoever wins will win an exemption for the finale. I'll try and make that sync. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just isolate Saunders one and make it like a second faster.
At least they got their money's worth out of those weird like sketches of the cast that they use for the snorkel challenge, because they're the same pictures that are on the cards.
They are, and actually, all jokes aside, I know this is going back to Belkia, but I would quite like that pack of cards. I think it's pretty cool.
Do you really want a pack of cards with like 4 cards that make William look like Sam Campbell?
Yes! I'm looking at my Belkia cards right now that I pilfered from the finale and went through in the finale press room to make sure they hadn't hidden a clue on one of the cards. Because, as I said to Trust Nobody, I do not trust these people not to do some sort of joke like that.
You know what would have been funnier as a callback to earlier this season? Is if the faces and all the cards were of all the contestants' moms.
So you have to identify whose mother it is before you can request it.
Yeah. Oh, this looks just like William. This must be William's mom.
And the problem is there's three mothers that they didn't see, so they wouldn't have been able to do it properly.
And I don't trust some of these people to not identify Dio's mum.
I was thinking that.
Is this variation of Go Fish popular in the Netherlands? Quartet?
I assume it must be, because they all knew exactly what it was.
Yeah. And Hadewych sounded like she'd played it before, because she was very excited to play it again.
And Lisbeth works with kids, so she is probably aware of it.
Yeah. So there are 10 quartets, and they must obtain as many as possible. However, if someone grabs their quartet with their face on it, they are knocked out of the challenge. Anna-Marie is the first to find a correct card, which is the Lisbeth of Diamonds and Spades, both from Tim. Lisbeth is then the first knocked out, thanks to Anna-Marie. Hadewych then gets Merritt's quartet before Tim takes 3 William cards off Anna-Marie and eliminates that quartet. Anna-Marie then gets 3 of her own cards before picking the wrong person who has the 4th, allowing Hadewych the opportunity to take her out. However, she doesn't have the card either, saving Anna-Marie. Hadewych then finds her own quartet, stopping anyone taking her out. Dio's then found next before Tim finds 3 of his own. Anna-Marie then completes herself, giving her the opportunity to take Tim out, as she has the 4th card that he's looking for with his set, and he then goes out. Fritz is completed, as is Martin, and then Hadewych completes Marion's set, leaving Anna-Marie to win the exemption.
Hadewych has some interesting commentary about how intense this challenge was.
Yeah, like, not much really happens in the challenge, but it's incredibly tense TV.
And actually, after 3 weeks or whatever it is of being around each other, it's fun to have a challenge like this that basically tests how good they are at reading each other.
Mm.
Like, for all the jokes that we can make about them playing Go Fish for an exemption, it's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
I like how 4 seasons prior to this, we had Texas Hold'em as essentially the Final Four exemption challenge. And then somehow 4 seasons later, a game of Go Fish for the final exemption is more intense than Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, and also on top of that, the surrounds of this challenge is very fun, making them go to the abandoned casino in the middle of the morning and just ratcheting up the tension on it.
I'm surprised none of them started smoking a cigarette during this scene.
I also realised the irony in talking about the Belkia finale that next to me I do have both a pack of cards that are mole branded and, an exemption. Arguably not for the finale, but still an exemption nevertheless. I've basically prepared for this challenge inadvertently. Anything else to say about Go Fish?
Yeah, I was very good production value with this challenge, and I think it's the most tense atmosphere I've seen for a Vidum challenge. I can't really think of any other challenges off the top of my head that were equally tense.
Yeah, they really got what the vibe should be here.
Yeah.
For all the jokes that you can make about making them play kids' games to win exemptions, like, they got the assignment appropriately.
Yeah. And, when they've done things like Tangrams and Connect 4 for the exemption for finale and other seasons, I think this one works the best.
And it was easy and such a recognizable game for the audience to play along and try to figure out the strategy in real time with the players. It was easy to comprehend for the audience as well.
Not surprisingly, Australia 6 fucked it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, did Australia 6... I know Australia 6 did a version of this. Was it the Final Four one as well? Or...
Yeah. So, the Final Four episode is the Maze Challenge, basically exactly the same as they did it here. And then Go Fish, but they changed the rules so it's like actual Go Fish and not the quartet version, where you had to ask the person to your left, which kind of defeats the purpose of it a little bit. They did that, but instead of the exemption, it was some sort of stupid advantage where it's if you're in a tie on the test at the end of this episode, we're going to take 30 seconds off your time, and that might help keep you safe, but maybe not. But you have to be tied for it to have any effect at all anyway. And no wonder nobody cared.
Yeah. I presume they just wanted to avoid a situation where Sam was immune again, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
Does this season count as our Australia 6 podcast?
I mean, technically, yes. This is the argument I'm going to make, that we don't have to do Australia 6 now because we've done this season instead.
Yeah. But you are still more than welcome to give us your money.
Yeah, if you want to give us your money for us to do Australia 6, that is more than welcome. But I think otherwise, I think this is our Australia 6 podcast. In my book, at least. So, it is time for the test. 20 questions about the identity and actions of the mole. Whoever knows least goes home, except for the mole who can never go home. Anna-Marie has an exemption for the finale. And the 3 who do survive this test will be the finalists of the season.
It's a bit disappointing that sort of after the whole season of doing the tests in really exciting locations, this one appears to just be in the courtyard at their hacienda.
Of course it is. presumably so Lisbeth can then get kidnapped.
Hmm.
Tim says it'll be very intense. Lisbeth and Hadewych are both very smart. He's 100% sure that Hadewych isn't the mole, leaving just Anna-Marie and Lisbeth, and he's on Anna-Marie. Hadewych says even though it makes her nervous, she enjoys doing tests because there'll be more clarity afterwards. She thinks everyone is on the same level. And Lisbeth says that everyone loses kilos when they do the test, and the test is getting more detailed as there are less people to ask questions about. Anna-Marie then, gloats that she's already in the finale and she doesn't have to care anymore. Before Art says that they know one finalist already, and he asks for Anna-Marie's exemption from Nature's Pocket.
Her lemons.
Ugh. Just brings flashbacks of me working in retail and having to wring out boob money that.
How is there so much moisture on this money?
I'm only slightly exaggerating, because when I worked in retail, it was still paper money, and yeah, during summer there was some pretty disgusting notes that I was handed. Ones that you had to put to one side.
Yeah. Still happens.
Yeah, at least the notes are polymer now, so they're in theory wipe clean.
Yeah.
I like how Anna-Marie gets to sit at the head of the class with Art. I like that theme from this season. The teacher's pet.
Hadewych then gets the first green screen, leaving Lisbeth for the third week running in the last two, alongside Tim. And just like in those 2 previous weeks, the other person gets a red screen, as Tim is the final one sent home, leaving the mole's only all-female final 3.
I love that Art's exit interview here is basically, you're a disappointment to your entire gender. Like, as though Dio and William and Fritz and Martin weren't also here this season.
Yeah, but to be fair, Dio and William are both disappointments to all genders, and anyone who knows them.
Yeah, Art's like, I can't believe this. I'm going to be the only one with the penis for the remaining episode. The funny thing is, as you guys know, I just finished watching Traders Netherlands 1. I finished watching it last night, and they were obsessing over gender that whole season 2, right from the very beginning. Like, oh, we have to go after a man or go after a woman, and then it ends up also with all women in the finale. Spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't seen Traders Netherlands season 1 from however many years ago. So it's just funny that it's like 2 seasons in a row where it's a very gender obsessive storyline, and Vidum in general always makes references to how many men or women are left in the game, regardless of how it ends up in the final 3.
I think they have kind of tempered that slightly.
Yeah, but it was always really obsessive, where it's like, oh, I'm the only woman left with a bunch of dudes, or oh, I'm the only man left with a bunch of women. Thinking, yeah, that's one way to distinguish yourselves, I guess.
And I believe this is worldwide the mole's only final 3 that is all women.
Wonder if Jill DaCosta is like, why can't this happen to us? Why am I always stuck with a bunch of dudes at the end of every season?
So Art blames him for the loss of all men. He thinks he had a blackout, which is very difficult. He doesn't think he was wrong with his suspicion, though. He said he's suffering from the cold, but it's been great, and he's lost for words.
He was in the warmest city in all of Europe, aside from maybe Mostar.
And the next time trailer is literally just Lisbeth is going missing. Spoilers, she gets kidnapped.
He got a lot of clips in his montage this week.
He did. He was one of the stars of the season.
It's weird because when you're watching the season, it doesn't feel like he's a big character. But then I counted 9 separate challenges they show in his thing. But considering most people only get 2 or 3 normally.
Yeah. Do you think that when this episode aired, he texted Arjen and said, did one better than you?
Probably.
I like how part of his montage was him rubbing his eyebrows due to stress during the Go Fish challenge.
Yeah, he got clips from 2 of the 3 challenges this week. Maybe did he get one from the maze?
No, there was the archery, getting shot in the Western Village, the paintball bridge, in the wetsuit, carrying the ball, the dress in the plaza, the laser game, getting stuck 2 feet off the ground in midair, and the casino.
I thought so. So, does Tim deserve a eulogy? And if so, what?
I mean, he does, but I have no idea what to say about him.
Yeah, that's basically where I am.
He definitely developed a lot of close relationships with this season. I mean, look at how much Hadewych cried at the. It's like she thought Art had taken him out back and shot him with a shotgun or something.
Yeah.
It's been like a bit of a weird season where, like, even though they clearly had to set up, the final three being all women, like, it kind of feels like everyone sort of got a reasonably balanced edit, which means there's not really any like standout characters this time around.
No, because even in the early part of the season, you go, oh, Dio and William are idiots. But
Yeah,
I don't think you form strong opinions about pretty much anyone else this season. For better
Huge
or for worse.
idiots.
yeah,
That's really the only moment of them being positive or negative, overwhelmingly, I would say.
yeah. Like, maybe you think sort of after episode 2, oh, Martin's pretty smart, he'll be around for a while, and then at the end of episode 3, he goes home.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And like, I like this cast. I don't know whether it's the most telegenic, I guess. Like, it's a cast of, like how Belgium's like, oh, we only cast people we want to have a beer with. I think it's that, but sort of they forgot to be like entertaining as a group as well.
I think it's interesting to compare it with the cast for South Africa the next year, because there's loads of big characters in that season.
Yeah. I sort of think they looked at how this season went and decided, okay, we need some big people to stick around for a while.
Yeah, it felt like a course correct, South Africa, in hindsight, because everyone's lovely this season, but I don't think you have that many standouts really compared to the next season, where I would argue at least the final 6 are all very big characters.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, they're all very big characters. So, final 3 questions.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Who do you suspect Saunders? Who's the sneaky Tasmanian? And who's going to win?
So my suspect list for this round was Lisbeth first, Anna Marie second, Hadewych third, and Tim last. I have Hadewych as the sneaky Tasmanian. I think Hadewich's going to win. Anna Marie's the runner-up, and Lisbeth is the mole.
Interesting. And as always, admin points. We're doing the final 2 episodes next week, which means that Logan needs to give us his suspicions after the final test, in the event that there is any reveal. I think you said there isn't, Bindles, but we'll just say, after you watch the final test, just send us your final suspects.
Yeah. I don't think there's a reveal at the end of episode 9, but I did like check it at like 1 a.m. when I was very tired, so there might be.
Yeah, I would say do it when you've watched the final test, just in case.
Yeah.
Because neither of us can actually remember whether there is any sort of reveal. This is the era of them revealing one of the roles, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But yeah, we're going to do episodes 9 and 10 back to back next week. So, fun times.
And then we have another season in the books.
We do. Our 26th, I think, mole season.
And we get to reference a different mole season next week, not Australia 6.
We do. So stay tuned for that. That is a tease. Yeah, next week, a new reference.
Yeah, we're really running out of material after about 600 episodes of this podcast, Michael.
Yeah, you're telling me.
I mean, it's all been downhill since I had to buy a packet of chips.
It's all been downhill since I had to buy a packet of Tim Tams. Anything else to say about this episode, or Tim?
There are no contestants with a penis left in the game.
Or are there?
Oh, that's what the reveal is.
Yeah, that's the reference we're going to do next week. Anyway, thank you for listening to our VSTML 2012 recap. We'll be back next week to conclude the hunt for an old mole in Iceland and Spain. Don't forget you can contact us on pretty much every social media platform that isn't TikTok, where we are RTV Warriors. You can email us and contact at rtvwarriors.com. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/rtvwarriors and get early access to the rest of the episodes of the season, i.e. one more. Thank you, as always, to That Spot for the subtitles this week. And, obviously, Marika, we will see you next week.
Peace out and just chill until the final of Flavorings.
At least they didn't decide that Tim had to do the Macarena instead of the flamenco.